Okay, I'm sure a bunch of you are aware of this. I am very late to the party, but I need to talk about adults adopting adults. Not the concept, but the show, the A&E, well, I can't necessarily say hit sensation because it was canceled, but the internet's having a blast. I saw Leon talk about the first episode, got real acquainted with Danny here, but little did I know that there were multiple families involved in this debacle. There is a reason why people have specifically connected to Danny, though. It's like Big Ed on 90 Day Fiancé. Everyone's just tuning in to one particular shit show. So I thought we'd take a little watch together as we walk through it, a show that proves A&E will go to any lengths for television. And I thank them for it. And even though it seems pretty popular on YouTube, from what I can tell, the show was canceled after 3 episodes of a planned 10, apparently due to low ratings. Though there have been some whispers that things kind of went off the rails behind the scene because Danny was very inappropriate. There were some accusations or comments that it felt like a human trafficking situation, and some statements that he'd made on social media. I have what he said on screen for you right now because I don't want my video messed with because of the actual clip. But yikes. It appears as though he has eradicated all of his social media accounts, so things have worked out real well for Danny here. People also seem to think that low ratings are unlikely because the other 7 episodes probably would have already been filmed, and they completely pulled the existing episodes from the A&E website. I won't jump right to that. If something is performing really poorly right out the gate, sometimes stations like this will cancel things so that they can fill those slots with other things, because you know, if the 90 Day Fiancé marathon is gonna pull in more viewers than fresh episodes of adults adopting adults, A&E is gonna do what A&E has to do. And if people are commenting well, if they were already edited, why wouldn't they toss them out there? They might not be. It is possible that those episodes aren't edited, so this way they are saving the money on the editing back end stuff. But this is all hypotheticals. No one really knows what happened. But because all the existing episodes have been deleted from the A&E website, it has led to some people thinking that perhaps some form of investigation is going on into Danny's affairs. But I feel like if that was the case, some of those tabloid sites would be all over this. Something like that would have leaked, unless it was so serious. But even then, they will get their hands on anything they need to, but who knows? Maybe it's because you have someone on camera saying that they moved to America specifically to be subsidized by this dude while she gives birth to a child? Though if that was going to be the issue, you think she would have gotten held at passport control. I just don't know. You can still find mention of the show on the news side of A&E, so who knows? Danny obviously vehemently denies that he is the reason why the show was canceled, so if it is just because of the ratings, there's a chance that we as YouTubers will be to blame if it ever comes back. So simultaneously, you're welcome or sorry, blame or thank Leon. Look, I'll take blame if things happen, but I will not take ownership over the success of this. I'm very late to this party. Now, I know I glossed over the human trafficking comments, which might be alarming, but the show, at least around Danny, feels like 90 Day Fiancé blended with some kind of sugar daddy show that's been taken to the least logical conclusion, but actually the most logical if you're specifically looking at the term daddy by gaining citizenship through adoption instead of marriage. Because the dude's already married, but we'll get there. Now, there's obviously fringe cases where adult adoptions obviously work, like someone who's helping out someone in their community, kind of becoming pseudo family and just wanting to make it official for legal and maybe asset reasons, foster parent situations. And some of these are that, and others are just weird. Danny and his adoption of Ileana with his wife Christy is easily the most interesting, and by interesting, I mean hilarious, disturbing, concerning. I feel a lot of emotions about Danny. They're not good. So while I will explain the other adoptions to varying degrees, our attentions will be with the Huffs, so apologies if you've been through this before. I just needed this. I'm working on a big Shadowhunters project right now, going through all of the show and then the books that deal with the show for my part 2. I just needed something fun like this. Before we hop in though, I want to draw some attention to a couple of podcasts that I'm on right now. The Mothership podcast, which I do with Friendly Space Ninja, Broey Deschanel, and Bruno the Commander, and the Camp Counselors podcast that is a co-host situation between myself, Mr. Gigi, and Kenny JD. I'll have links down below if you want to check those out. So Danny here is a man that I originally believed was a stand-up gentleman because of his appreciation for tie-dye. Respect, Danny. I sadly think that Danny would be a really big fan of this Titty City shirt. Moving on. But that all went out the window when he opened his mouth. So Danny's a guy with a lot of love in his heart. So much so that he felt the need to adopt. But he doesn't want to adopt a kid who needs resources or even a teenager who would gladly probably potentially want a home, maybe not this one, who's still in school. He wants an adult. And that adult is 20-year-old Ileana from Austria, who's pregnant. She's clearly coming over for something, and it ain't the tie-dye shirts. Oh wait, maybe it is the tie-dye shirts. So they found each other through social media, as one does nowadays, specifically through a Facebook group called Adults Who Want to Be Adopted. Christ. So she basically explains how she was kicked out of the house, she doesn't have any support system, and after talking back and forth, they started seeing each other in a father-daughter capacity. Christy, the wife, though, not so sold on that, not impressed. So why, you may ask, is she going along with her husband's insanity?
It's love for our family, he and I being the family.
Well, that just about says everything you need to about how she feels about this family situation brewing. You fucked Ileana, no mom for you. We then learned that Danny isn't new to adult adoption. After selling a puppy to an 18-year-old girl, Danny developed a need to help this fatherless young woman.
I could not pursue that first young lady because I actually started having feelings for her.
Oh no! Just the kind of help they're looking for, I'm sure. It's also mentioned that Danny has been unfaithful to Christy in the past outside developing feelings for this 18-year-old.
I actually started having feelings for her.
So this is a pattern. Hopefully not all with young girls that he's trying to adopt, but I gotta say, flying a girl over from Austria certainly can't help with the tension within this marriage.
And it's an appropriate love. And, I call her my daughter.
But it's time to get ready for her arrival. They're gonna make some nice signs, some welcoming signs for her.
If it was my poster, I'd want it to say, "Welcome to Ohio, where's my blowy?" But
oh God, oh my God, oh no, please stop, oh Jesus. You never said or did anything creepy to her, Danny? Yeah, sure, I buy that. Even your wife is commenting that people think you're fucked.
We've had a lot of friends and family that are just very perplexed.
And he is very much unhappy with this. Like, look at his eyes here. Oh my God. Just like everybody's being so goddamn ridiculous. This is completely normal. So even though she is going along with it for love, Christy had some smart forward thinking. She bought an RV for Ileana to sleep in, so she'd have space, both so that Christy can feel comfortable knowing that a stranger isn't sleeping in their house, and presumably so Ileana is protected from Danny.
how are you going to be with us spending time together alone?
Why was the inflection so intense there? Alone?
Alone.
I know that just didn't sound. I don't like the way that sounded.
I most certainly am very concerned that I may become physically attracted to Ileana.
Oh my God. Oh no. Please stop. Oh jeez.
Tell me what your friends are telling you.
What the is wrong with your husband?
I have all the time in the world for someone to try to explain that to me. Can we start a Christy rescue fund? Like, I guess she has the RV to fall back on, so it's not all bad. Now, an obvious concern she has is that Ileana is using them for money. And yeah, she's gonna be pretty open about that fact, but she also wants the familiar support too. And look, I don't blame her. Respect the hustle, girl. So the tensions just kind of keep getting higher from here. They're not sure if she's gonna make it through passport control, if she's gonna bail the second she lands because they haven't heard from her in a while, but like, with what money will she bail with? So they plan to head to the airport and Danny is just unhinged.
I need you to move faster. The water.
Fuck hydration, Christy. Our adult adoptee is on the way with our incubating grandchild. But Ileana didn't cut and run. Here she is, and she gives Christy the hug first. Oh no, Danny is not going to like that. But Christy actually seems like relieved and excited. I know she's been talking to Ileana a bit to coordinate things, but I can't tell if this is like joy or, oh, okay, this is real. Because in my mind, the thing that would actually be worse than her just taking the money to get to America and then bailing, or just never coming to America and just taking whatever money he had given and bailing, is her actually coming over and becoming a financial dependent.
Ileana has entrusted me with her life. She wants to be with me.
Sir, your wife is right there. Like, first it kind of just comes across as some weird savior protector thing, and then it just hardlines into, but also she wants to be with me. It's perfect and amazing. Oh, he's gonna lock her up.
Rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Ileana needs me. I had to wait for my hug.
I fucking knew he would have an issue with the fact that Ileana hugged Christy first. I'm the savior. I brought her here. She needs me, not Christy, even though she's been doing all of the work prepping for her to get here, and she's out here buying the sheets and the pillows and a whole house RV to keep her away from me. Anyways, Ileana, again, is super open about the fact that she needed to find a support system for her and her child because she was homeless in Austria, and the father blocked her the second he found out about the pregnancy.
Without the help from Danny and Christy, I would be again on the street. I'm very grateful for that and willing to do anything to stay here.
Also, some concerning legality issues where this girl is openly admitting that she's in America to be bankrolled. Like, I don't know how 90 Day Fiancé bypasses all the trafficking stuff and like people clearly just doing this to get green cards, but I assume they had to have gone through something similar here. I don't know. It just feels worse.
The other people on this adult adoption group on social media, their intentions is always questionable.
I like hugging on you, and you're awful sweet.
Oh my God. Please don't put this girl in the position where she's more afraid here than she was homeless in her home country. Don't do that. Oh my God. And Christy's face just really said it all here after that comment from Danny. He's like that creepy guy at work that everybody just kind of puts up with because like you just do it and then hopefully someday new management will take over and be like, yeah, no. Also, why is there deodorant in the fridge? Leon mentioned that, so I was keeping an eye out, and by golly, yeah, that appears to be some secret antiperspirant right there. But let's just cut into one of Danny's smiles here on screen. The way this man looks is like a personification of Bashful and Thumper, but then unhinged. And first day, before they even have time to have breakfast, Danny wants to invite Ileana into discussions of he and Christy's marital issues without running it by Christy.
If you're willing to share our marital problems, this would be a perfect place for you to do it.
I feel like this is the exact moment where you can see the look of regret on Ileana's face. So that's where we'll have to leave off with Danny for a moment because, as I mentioned, there are other families in this. They just aren't as interesting. That doesn't mean they aren't valid, and there are some I'd like to highlight more if we didn't have Danny, but so it goes. We've got an adult mother with a husband and kids, nice home, good jobs, who wants to be adult adopted to have grandparents in her kids' lives. But it really more just seems like a way for her to make up for the support that she always wanted as a kid because her upbringing wasn't happy, and her adoptive mother, because she was already adopted at a young age, refused to acknowledge that, so they've been estranged for 8 years. Look, I get the need for support like that, but the adoption aspect here feels a little bit more like she would benefit from some therapy, but sure, get your kids a grandma on paper. The biggest drama here is that the original adoptive mom has slowly worked her way back into Kim's life and isn't okay with these replacement grandparents. Not as interesting, but the producers literally ask her whether she's doing this to get back at her mom, and the husband clearly has thoughts and just can't say shit about them.
I mean, the serious answer sounds like a joke, but I mean, it really doesn't matter if I'm comfortable with it or not.
Oh, this man is tired. The next family is adulting a 23-year-old that Carol here met at the community college she works at. This one seems innocent enough. Bianca just wants a home to fall back on because she aged out of the foster system, and they always had, like, I guess a good, mentorship relationship when she was at school, I guess. Drama here is that Carol's stepdaughter is not down for the arrangement. And that's a stepdaughter from another marriage, not the current one, because one of Carol's former students was sleeping with this stepdaughter's dad at the time, and she obviously blames Carol for bringing that person into their home. Okay, a bit more dramatic here than I initially believed. She doesn't hate Carol for it, but it's why she has reservations of a new situation with this happening. Though it's not like it's her dad this time. And Carol's husband, Derek, is really down for the idea of having a stepdaughter. I know a lot of people thought that this was creepy and that their dynamic was creepy but I don't know. Like, I don't instantly want to make it seem like the only reason why he'd be into this would be for like some nefarious reasons. He just seems like he was the type of guy who was a perpetual bachelor and didn't want to do the whole raising kids thing. So now he can just have one that's already an adult. But his family is sure thinking it's creepy.
Have I thought about the perception or the rumor that I'll end up having sex with this girl? Is that the question?
Oh God, they're all gonna be like this, aren't they? Oh no. But that was episode 1, and right into episode 2, we're picking up with Danny and Ileana. The show realizes like where the real spectacle is here. And Ileana is trying her damnedest to steer Danny away from the conversation about he and Christy's relationship.
She doesn't want me to share.
That's fine, because this is something private and this is something between you two.
Danny, chill. She's giving you every possible out. It's fine though. She'll put up with it. Otherwise, she's homeless. I wonder what could possibly go wrong under these conditions. Then they threw in this new storyline of two sisters. I'm skipping over them because this is a very normal situation where they just want to officially be adopted by their foster parents. I hope it goes well. They seem nice. Back to Danny, where it seems like he may have over-exaggerated his wealth to Ileana.
Danny and Christy are not wealthy or have loads amount of money.
She acknowledges that it's better than the alternative, but feeling even more like 90 Day Fiancé now, people being lulled in with great promises, and here is your empire. They're walking through the large property that Danny just let fall to shit in a lot of areas, and she is so unimpressed. But Ileana, that is property in America's heartland of Ohio. That will be worth gold for its resources in the coming apocalypse, and it is destined to be your empire, as long as Danny doesn't make a move.
What is with that?
The trailer?
Yeah.
So back in the day, I had a survival business, and it held all the stuff for that.
Holy shit, I made the apocalypse joke before we got to Danny talking about his abandoned survival goods. It honestly just looks like Naughty Dog used his property as inspiration for Last of Us survivor settlements. Like, Danny, why do you have so many shipping containers just filled with abandoned materials? More on that later. And the abandoned wasteland then opens up to this lovely sign that mentions that there are cameras everywhere's in use. And it's not just for trespassing or security, apparently.
I want to know everything that goes on, and I take it very serious.
Oh my God. I definitely feel nervous being here.
I feel like the direct implication here is that he wants to be able to spy on Christy when he's away for work. Again, real good that she has that RV as an escape option. I'm also getting the distinct impression that if Ileana tries to make like friends or outside connections, Danny's gonna be real upset.
At the end of the day, Ileana, I want you to stay right here.
Then the other shoe drops. Danny travels constantly for work as a trucker, so he wanted to bring this person into their lives who is pregnant and essentially leave his wife to deal with it. It also makes those cameras a lot more concerning. It feels like a real Don Massimo from 365 situation here. He's literally been away for most of the time that Ileana has been in America and is super delusional about the situation.
I think Christy is really settling in quite well.
Oh my God, it's not even funny anymore. It's just sad on every conceivable level.
Life couldn't be much better for me right now. It's awesome.
The absolute disconnect of him being so ecstatic while Ileana is bitching about her living situation and wanting to like redo the RV, which like, I guess I get it. You were brought to America, promised greatness, and you're being set up in an RV to raise a baby, but it looks like a nice RV. And Christy just trying to keep it all together while taking Ileana to all her doctor's appointments and buying all the baby stuff. Insanity. As is always the case, the solution for most of these situations is therapy, but therapy that you're open for, otherwise it ain't doing shit. Like, I don't know how much money they have. Like, the house seems nice. They have a lot of land, but Danny inherited it. I don't think that Christy seems to have work, but maybe she's already retired, but they're just dumping so much money into this pregnancy, which is also high risk, which means she needs more doctor's appointments, and it's just adding to the stress of the situation.
You get anything you want.
Look, I don't know if Christy agrees with that one, champ. Look at this face. Maybe you should be taking some of those thousands and investing them into your wife that you've already cheated on. He's just out here having a blast, posting on his now deleted social media while Christy is falling apart and all the people surrounding his life think he's a massive creep. And the sweat isn't helping. So let's slide into our last episode and our final check-ins with these families. As I expected, the second most dramatic storyline up until this point was Kim, and telling her existing adoptive mother that she wants to be adopted again. And she's somehow confused that the woman she's been estranged from for 8 years due to her inability to accept responsibility for being a bad parent is upset that she is literally being replaced.
I hate them for wanting to take my daughter away.
We're just gonna... I can't tell if that is a show for the cameras or for the daughter, but my God, the commitment. Is everyone having a good time? Enjoying your evenings? I'm having a blast.
Grandkids, they're not taking my daughter.
It's just the husband just sliding in with the tissue box. Oh my God. I hate how much energy I share with this man.
I commend her for telling her mom in person. I would send a text message or something.
We hate an awkward situation and conflict, but he pulls through when needed, tells the wife that she'll resent the mom if she backs out on the adoption not to upset her. But that's where that one's left off, with the mom no longer talking to her and us not really knowing if she's gonna go through with the adoption. So I think the last new person we're gonna be formally and fully introduced to is Prince Frederick, the man looking for a son to adopt to inherit his princedom. I don't think that's a word, but we're sticking to it. And you think the prince thing is what's interesting, but it's actually that he was married to actress Zaza Gabor. A very interesting life this man has led, and he's looking to pass that legacy on, which is apparently a paid-for title, and his estate is entirely from his now passed wife. And that legacy is to keep the Gabor family trust running, otherwise it'll be dissolved upon his death. So yeah, the wife's money, prince and title alone.
He thinks of himself as a Hollywood elite type, but in reality, he's not Hollywood.
Yeah, listening to this guy, it just feels like he thinks he should be living the experience of the Kardashians because he literally compared himself to the Kardashians. But hey, I don't care if this is all for fame. It's a wacky storyline, and that's what I'm here for. Whole show should have just been about Danny and this guy trying to find an heir in a way that makes it sound like he's looking for someone to sugar daddy for. Because this man has literally adopted 5 different people who all suck and he cut loose, but instead of him bankrolling them, he had them try to court him with gifts for the chance and inheriting that trust.
Well, you could say yes, they paid, or no, they spoiled me. Let's put it this way.
Oh my God. And he doesn't just want an heir. He wants an heir that's going to be a dedicated caretaker for the rest of his life and basically a personal assistant, which, depending on how much you like money, might not be the worst situation.
I could go to Gucci, meet the good guys there.
The Gucci store?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's out there, still looking apparently. This could be your chance. So we're kind of left off with him considering this dude who he does apparently adopt, but now he doesn't want him anymore. Dude is absolutely fishing for a reality show. According to the tabloids, he's now considering a female heir and might want grandkids to really ensure that the legacy continues. It's fascinating stuff here. So we don't get closure on any of the other stories. The adoption is about to go through for Bianca, Carol, and Derek. We get teased with this other situation that they're highly implying is someone looking to take advantage of this kindly old lady. But who cares? It's time to end off our journey with Danny, Christy, and Ileana. And it's not satisfying, but it's all we have. So Christy goes out for some much needed girl time.
They aren't as concerned about Ileana. They're more concerned about Danny.
Ma'am, if your friends are more concerned about your weirdo husband and not the girl who openly said she's here for the resources, you got some problems.
Danny has actually referred to himself as a chronic cheater. Our marriage is not strong enough to support this.
Christy, come in. Come in close. I feel like you knew that before this started. So you either could have tried to really push back on it or left before it happened. I get that you thought you needed to do this for love, but at some point you gotta realize Danny's weird. And not in a fun way. But now there's the added issue that Christy realizes that Ileana relies on her because Danny is a shithead. He's gone half the time. He's completely ignoring his wife, spying on them when he's away, I assume. Ileana needs her to get everywhere and to provide the resources.
Part of the conversation was how stressful this is for me.
Well, I disagree with that.
Danny, how can you disagree with the stress that she is telling you she's under? You left her alone with an adult pregnant woman who you adopted and put all the responsibility on her to deal with.
I'm ready to cut ties,
You're not easy to live with. I give and you want more.
Danny just seems like the type of guy who can't be satisfied with what he has, but doesn't want to lose anything either. He's described as a chronic cheater. She's left before, and he begged for her to come back, and then just turned into an asshole again. And sadly, I think that's the last of what we have for this story. I can't find any info on what might have happened since the show was canceled. I didn't look extensively, but I don't know if Christy left or if Ileana is good. In the coming this season section of the first episode, it said that she was going to have to leave the US in 70 days, so there's a very good chance that she got booted back to Austria because Danny fucked up. But I looked at the adults adopting adults subreddit because that's where most of the discussions seem to be having, and there's currently a theory running that Danny may be a serial killer because people have noticed that there is a high number of missing women in the Ohio area that they live in, and his shipping containers of survival goods are actually where he's storing the bodies. And that the real reason why the show was canceled is because there's an investigation going on. Reddit never change. Real quick, I just want to clarify that I am not trying to make light of a real tragedy or disrespect these victims and their families. Reddit just has a tendency to take minor information when they think they've uncovered some kind of mystery and really blow it out of proportion. And I just really wanted to comment on that. I suppose that there is a minor chance that some of that could be true, but I think he's just a completely different type of creep. If he was a serial killer and traveled that much for work, he probably would have just become one of those long-haul trucker serial killers that we occasionally catch. Again, I am not personally suggesting that this man is a serial killer. I just think he's a creepy narcissist with weird intentions and some kind of savior complex. I'm just pointing out a discussion that I've seen brought up numerous times online.
So you don't want to end up in the trailer?
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything ever happens, but...
Yeah, I get it. Now, if there was some kind of investigation going on, it's also possible it could be in one of those other situations where they mention someone literally having some kind of criminal background and maybe taking advantage of this woman. But who knows? We'll never know. Maybe we do know. Maybe it really is just the ratings. But tragically, that's it. There are clearly some stories that we didn't get, which is fine. I will just be weeping the loss of never seeing the full conclusion of the story of Danny and Christy and Ileana. It seems like Ileana might not be around anymore based on the quote he gave in response to people saying the show was canceled not because of the ratings, but because he was a massive creep. I never had any inappropriate actions, words, comments, anything to her.
Welcome to Ohio, where's my blowy? But I may become physically attracted to Ileana.
Sorry, the point is that just seems a little past tense to me. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, or will this just disappear into the void of time and confusion? Real quick, guys, it seems like Ileana might actually have been sent back to Austria because I'm seeing some reports from other people in the Adults Adopting Adult Facebook page saying that Danny has been scouting potential future adoptees. If this is to be believed, it looks like Danny in early February was sending messages to someone named Cheyenne who is looking to be adopted. A 25-year-old mother of 2 and potentially also a mother of 3 named Jill. Oh my God. I'd like to think that if there's a story to be told, it will come out eventually because, the internet, much like life, finds a way. But that is gonna do it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you are thinking down below. I'm sorry for the lack of content this month. I really still haven't even gotten a big push on that Shadowhunters video yet. But yeah, that is gonna do it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Thanks as always to my Patreon supporters, with a special thank you to the latest Jedi Knight level patrons, Michael M, Heather L, and Bridget B. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Leave a like on the video if you're into that kind of thing. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I'm mostly okay, and we'll catch you all later. Once again, yeah.